Hello my sweeties and welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know me, my name is Celise and thank you for joining my spooky little family. In today's video, we will finally be talking about the black phone. Let's get into the video. Okay, so I'm actually very happy with my fit right now. I'm feeling very Barbie, very bimbo, very sweet and spooky vibes. Actually, you know what? There's no spooky vibes in this outfit today. Is there? No. I'm wearing duck earrings, or it's not. Speaking of feeling good, let's get right into The Black Phone. Directed by Scott Derrickson, starring Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, Jeremy Davies, and Ethan Hawke, The Black Phone follows Finney, a shy but clever 13-year-old boy who is abducted by a sadistic killer and trapped in a soundproof basement where screaming is of no use. When a disconnected phone on the wall begins to ring, Finney discovers that he can hear the voices of the killer's previous victims, and they are dead set on making sure that what happened to them doesn't happen to him. Okay, so I am really excited to talk about this film today because this has been one of my most anticipated horror films of the year, and Ethan Hawke is in this movie, so it's just like, it's a win for me. So before I get into the story and what I liked and didn't like, let's just jump right into some performances. All of the kids in the film are really good. I'm actually not very familiar with the kid actors in this film, but they all did such a great job. So let's talk about our leading boy, played by Mason Thames. I think that he did a really good job. He just has a very natural way of acting, so I really liked him. And he was genuinely funny and just really fun to watch on screen. I think he did a great job, and he also had amazing chemistry with Ethan Hawke, so that was a big plus. I truly feel like the kid star in this film, though, has to be Madeline McGraw. I think she was amazing, and she absolutely ate in every scene. She was killing every single scene in the comedy, in like the emotional aspect, like in every possible way. This little girl, she is a star. It almost feels like her character really is the heart of the film, so I really liked that. Overall, I just really liked her character, and I feel like she had a lot of depth, so I really like that. Of course, I have to talk about Ethan Hawke because I'm a huge Ethan Hawke fan. He is one of my favorite actors of all time, and I feel like he does not get the recognition that he deserves, and I'm so happy when he's in a horror movie. He always does a great job. Speaking of Ethan Hawke being in horror movies, this film is actually directed by the same guy who did Sinister, and it just all makes sense. It definitely had a similar vibe, and I am a huge fan of Sinister, so I kind of already knew I would really like this movie. The great thing about Ethan Hawke is that no matter what character he plays, he always brings so much nuance and depth to his characters. He just does a really great job on the screen. There were a lot of times in the film that you couldn't really see his face, so you would see either his eyes because the mask was kind of like half of a mask. Which, speaking of the mask, I mean, the mask is so good. It is so iconic already. I am obsessed with the mask. I thought it was very eerie and creepy, and they did such a great job with it. And I certainly haven't seen a mask in any horror movie that looks like that, so that's amazing. They really crushed it there. And I mean, you know what? It doesn't hurt that even with the mask, Ethan Hawke is a whole zaddy. So if you didn't already know, This film is actually based on a short story by Joe Hill, who, if you also didn't know, is Stephen King's son. So that is why I feel like there is so much Stephen King vibes. Now, I am a huge fan of Stephen King and Joe Hill, so this, chef's kiss. Love all the vibes. Not only was there lots of Stephen King vibes, and there were definitely some moments that I felt were little nods to Stephen King, specifically when Gwen is riding her bike throughout the town. She is rocking this yellow raincoat, and I feel like that was definitely a nod to Georgie in It. And I really, really like that. It is actually my favorite Stephen King novel. Now, though I did think The Black Phone was a lot of fun and I had a good time with it, I do want to talk about the fact that I feel like there was certainly a lack of backstory when it comes to our villain. There really is not too much backstory about the grabber, and I feel like that made me slightly disappointed. I think he's a really cool character, the mask is iconic, and he is definitely creepy, especially with the way that Ethan Hawke portrays him. But I feel like if we had more moments with the killer himself, just maybe more intimate moments with him where we could really get into his psyche, I think that would have made the movie way more intense. I did, of course, really like all the moments we get with our leading boy. He did a great job, you know, kind of acting alone just on this phone in this empty room. So he was definitely great. But I just wanted so much more of our villain, especially because he's so mysterious and so interesting that you kind of want to know more about him, and you don't really get that. I honestly don't really say this much, but I feel like this film easily could have been an extra 30 minutes longer and I would have been completely fine with it. Though we didn't get a lot of backstory on our villain, I did really enjoy the backstory we got of Gwen and Finney and their dad. That relationship and their home life was very interesting. I'm actually going to talk about a scene that I really enjoyed, which may be spoiler-ish. If you haven't seen the film yet and you would like to see it before you continue this review, definitely head on out now. There was a scene in particular that I really liked that really kind of brings you closer to the kids and makes you feel a lot more protective of them. And that is the scene between Gwen and her father when he is basically very upset because she's saying that she has these powers and she has these dreams and everything in the dreams happens in real life. I feel like that scene itself was not only very intense and emotional, they really just brought so much to the table, especially Madeline McGraw. I mean, she was just a star. I am gonna rave about her this whole time. She did such a great job. I actually do feel like there was a lot of great moments that built a lot of tension and it did it very well. I feel like specifically the scene when Finney first sees the grabber sitting upstairs, like with his shirt off and the mask is different and he wants to play the naughty boy game. That scene was absolutely chilling and very disturbing. And though I did find a lot of the scenes of the grabber disturbing and eerie, mostly because Ethan Hawke brings this amazing body language and this chilling performance. But that kind of doesn't take away from the fact that I still feel like if we had more backstory about the grabber, I would have felt more strongly about it. It honestly feels like we could just have a film all about the grabber. Like, I would totally watch that. Aside from me really being disappointed that there wasn't a lot of backstory about the villain, I will say that the story itself was very interesting and I really did enjoy it. I have yet to read the short story, but after seeing this film, I really want to. I'm actually curious if the short story gives us a little more insight into the grabber. Now, in terms of the way this film looks, I really love the way it was shot. It definitely gives that 70s vibe, so I really like that. They absolutely nailed it. I also have to talk about the final act because I feel like the final act was really fun. I mean, the entire fight scene between the grabber and Finney was just so fun. It was great. It was like nonstop action. I really loved the moment where Finney takes the grabber's mask off. And Ethan Hawke does this amazing thing with his performance where he kind of just like screams at his face being exposed. And it was just such an interesting little moment that you're like, oh my God, he like hates his face. And you really want to know more about that and why he reacted that way. Well, at least I did. And unfortunately, you don't find out why. Or at least I don't recall us finding out why. But that was kind of sad because I wanted to know more. I just wanted more of this character. But you know what? Maybe that's part of the mystery. Maybe we are supposed to feel like that. But aside from wanting more, I definitely really enjoyed this film and it was a lot of fun to watch. I'm actually very excited to see it again because I have a feeling that seeing it a second time, I'm sure there's a lot of little things that you can pick up along the way. So I definitely can't wait to rewatch this one. With that being said, I am going to be giving The Black Phone 3.5 levs out of 5. This is definitely a solid horror film. It is a lot of fun. The mask is iconic. The acting is great. And you know what? If you just want a fun horror movie, then I think you're really gonna like this. Alright, you guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe as it really helps me a lot. And be sure to click that little notification bell to be up to date every single time I upload. And let me know in the comments, have you seen The Black Phone? Did you enjoy it? Was it not really for you? Are you planning to go see it? I'd love to talk about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.